Welcome back everyone. In this lesson we're going to be starting to create the actual animations for our app. These animations are going to involve the transform forward and backwards, the divergent animation, and the convergent over under and convergent under over. I'll be explaining these in a second why there are some duplicates, and so yeah, let's get started. First thing we want to do is open up our image target, open up our tectonic plates, and open up to see the models. And what we want to do is we just want to remove the animated component on both of our models, as that won't be needed, as we are going to be animating them as a whole. So once that's done, click on our tectonic plates up here, our empty game object which holds our two plates, and what we want to do is we want to add an animator component to that. So just look up animator and add that like so. And now what we want to do is we then want to go over to our animations folder here, open that up. If you don't have an animations folder, simply create one. And what we want to do in there is right click, go create, and we want to make an animated controller, and we'll simply call this Tectonic Plates. And then once that's done, we click on Tectonic Plates here with our animator and drag that into our controller. What an animated controller is, it is basically, if I double click, it's basically a list of all the different animations and states and the connections between them. So you're able to call specific animations, and then those animations can pass on to others. It's very useful for if you have states such as a character, such as your default state would be idle, then there would be running, then there'd be jumping, those sort of animations. But in our case, we're not really going to be using the animator. We're just going to be having it because it's kind of a necessity for the animations. We're going to be mainly focusing and building our animations inside of a timeline, which will be going on over next lesson. But for now, let's start creating our animations. So our first one, let's right click in the animations folder, go create and animation. And we are going to be calling this one our TransformForwardsBack. Let's click on our tectonic, actually let's click into our animator here and simply drag and drop it in. There we go. Now what we want to do is we want to go back to our scene view. We want to click on our tectonic plates here, and then we want to open up our animation window down here. If you don't have this window already, you can go window, then you can go animation, animation, and that should open up the animation window. And once you have your tectonic plates selected, we should then be introduced to this window here, the animation window. Make sure that you have your TransformForwardsBack animation selected here, and we can begin animating. Now the TransformForwardsBack animation, it is simply the two plates grinding along each other horizontally. And yep, so and what forwards back means is basically the left plate is going to go forwards while the right plate is going to go back. We're going to have an alternate animation as well called transform back forwards, which means the left plate goes back and the right plate goes forward. This is because we're going to allow the player to swipe either direction pretty much. So they're not going to be restricted to going, they have to swipe up on the left and swipe down on the right. They'll be able to do either on both, and it'll play a different animation. So to begin, let's click on add property, and what we want to be animating is our left plate model right here. So we want to open up that left plate model, open up its transform, and position like so. Do the same for the right plate as well. Right plate model, transform, and position. Now, what we want to do here is we pretty much want these two plates to move in a tiny bit, and then the left plate to move up, right plate to move down. So for that, we want to go to, actually we want to have it so that it does the animation in 2 seconds, we wait 2 more seconds, and then it reverts back to default. So let's actually stretch this all the way over to 6 seconds like so. At the 2 second mark here, we want to click on this red circle here to go into recording mode. Click on our left plate model, and let's just say we want to drag this forwards about, yeah, let's go. So let's go -0.7 like that. And on our right plate model, let's go 0.7. It's a bit too far, let's go 0.5 instead. Negative 0.5 on our left model. There we go. So now, if you play that back, you can see that the positions are moving from there to 0 all the way up to 0.5 here, and then slowly going back. But we want to hold this for 2 seconds. So let's click on this animation here, go Control C, and then let's go over to 4 seconds and Control V, and there we go. So if we play that back now, it should go up like so, wait 2 seconds, and then slide back. Pretty simple. But we also want to make them move in a tiny bit, so let's go close, and once we're here, we also want these to, actually let's do it here a bit early on. Alright, let's go on our left plate model, move that in a tiny bit. Let's make that actually, see if it 0.8 works, 0.85, 0.88. And on the right model, negative 0.88. Yep, so as you can see, it goes in a bit and then slides across. And then they go back. Alright, let's duplicate this here. Because we also want, actually, if we open up these, we can see our individual keys here. So as we go up here, we can go here and enter in our 0.88 here, and negative 0.8. We can copy this again, and we can paste it over that, like so. And then we can also copy that there, and paste that there. So now when we play it back, should go together, out, come back, and like so. So yep, that's our transform forwards back animation. Now let's also go and create our transform back forwards animation, which is pretty much just going to be a duplicate of this one. Something you can do to make it easy, if these are mirrored animations, we can simply select all the key points on our forwards back, go to our back forwards, paste them in, and from there we can easily just go through and flip the individual values. And there we go. Our back forwards animation is done. Now we can actually go and move on to our next set of animations in the next lesson. So yeah, see you then.